We are back at the WYNN playing some 2-5, sometimes with a $10 straddle on. And before I got my seat at that table, I did play a couple of 1-3 hands. And for the first one, I'm going to get dealt pocket fives in cutoff position. It is a 1-3 game, and we see just that. When low jack is going to be putting in the limp, it does fold to me, and y'all already know how I feel about limps. We're not about that life, so it's time to bump it up. I'm going to put in that ISO, making it $15 to go. Button's going to put in a call, and if it folds the big blind, they're going to be calling too. And surprisingly, they're getting amazing odds, but the original limper decides to fold? Like, what? I don't even understand this, but whatever. I mean, you should be falling with almost any two at this point, right? But yeah, it looks like it's just going to be three of us, and we're going to be going to a flop of 5-7-7. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful flop to start off the session with. I know it is 1-3, but I'm not complaining. I do have the second nuts here, which a lot of the times is going to be the stone cold nuts. If somebody has quads, oh well, whatever. You could just take my money. No problems. I'll just rebuy. But yeah, looking really good here. Big blind's going to start out with a check. I'm going to be finding that C-bet here. Just going to be making it a small wager. I do grab my chips, and I just make it $10 to go. Blind is going to be coming along with the call. Big blind, however, has other plans. Looks like they're putting in that check raise, and they're going to be bumping it up all the way to $32. And I am in a weird spot here because I have such a strong hand, and I still have one player left to act. To be completely honest, I would love if the person on button continues to put in money, so I don't want to scare them out yet, right? Why would I do that? There's not much runouts that are going to be bad for me. I'm going to be all right. So if all those factors playing in, I decide to just put in a call. And after a couple of seconds, looks like I get exactly what I wanted. Button announces they're going to be all in for $150. Big blind thinks about it for a little bit, but they're going to be laying it down. And yeah, easiest call and spot of my life. I flick in the call. They confidently turn over their queen 7 suited. I mean, if I was in their shoes too, I would confidently turn over trips with the third best kicker. And I let them know, hey, I got a boat and turn over my pocket fives. Let's see if we can find a hold. And remember, the lady is my favorite card. So there's no way a queen is ever going to come on this board. Not going to happen. They wouldn't betray me. The ladies love me. Come on now. Let's go straight to the run out.
Nice hand.
Nice hand. Perfect hand. Welcome to the table. Yeah, thank you.
An extremely good run out there. We do find the big hold with flopping the boat. Beautiful way to start out the session. Let's keep this momentum going for the rest of the night. And it's time for the hand that everybody hates, but I love and appreciate it though. I get dealt ace king and big blind, a beautiful big blind special. Let's see if we can win a lot of money with it. Under the gun +1 is going to be opening to 15. That is a 5x open at this 1-3 game. It's going to fold all the way to cutoff. They're going to be putting in a call as well. And I guess button has some good cards too. They come along with the call too. Small blind does fold. And yeah, there is no way in hell I am taking ace king to the poker streets 4 ways. It's just not happening. So you already know what time it is. We'll put it in that 3-bet squeeze. Yes, and I'm going to be making it a massive one since people are sitting a little bit deep here. I'm going to be squeezing all the way up to $120. Yes, $120. And the original opener and under the gun +1 is going to be put it in the call. But my other 2 opponents are going to be laying it down. And with the amount that I squeezed and the amount that's already in the pot in the middle, I see that my opponent only has $135 behind. So before we even go heads up to the flop, you already know what time it is. We're going to have an Aunt Jemima moment. Well, a blind Aunt Jemima moment. I'm going to be all in effectively for just $135. Felt really confident about my play. And hey, maybe it'll work and get my opponent to fold some nonsense hand. Who knows? But it's cool. Let's go to the flop. And it's going to come 6, jack, 8, all clubs. And I don't have a club in my hand. Are you kidding me? This has got to be the worst flop ever for ace king. And the worst flop ever to blind jam. How am I blind jamming here and this flop is going to come out? Are you kidding me? Flop could have came 2, 3, 4 or something like that. Rainbow. Just come on now. Unbelievable. But yeah, I already committed my stack and they go into the tank for a little bit. I'm like, damn, really just hope they don't have a club because then they're never going to call here and I get to scoop this pot with my blind jam. Would be really nice. But unfortunately, after a little bit, they are going to be putting in the call. Let's go straight to the run out. Don't have a club. This did not work out well. Oh my God. Oh, I hope you don't have a club. And it seems like it just got worse. Turn is going to come to 5 of clubs. That means I lose to any single club in the deck. But the river comes the 10 of clubs. Now, if my opponent doesn't have a club in their hand, I'm going to be good. We'll just be chopping it up, no problems. But they do let me know they have pocket 7s with the 7 of clubs. Such a rough spot there. I am rather surprised that they still called off pocket 7s, not going to lie. But then again, it was only a 50% bet, right? But the thing is, a lot of times they're going to hit that club and then they're just going to be dead. But hey, works out for them this time. Nice hand. We're just going to have to move on to the next one. And maybe this is why everybody hates ace king. Could be, could be. All right, this time we're going to have a little bit better of a starting hand. We get dealt pocket kings, the Cowboys.
I'll never get tired of this video. It's beautiful.
And once again, it's going to be a beautiful big blind special. Let's hope we get some open, some 3 bets, everything. I'm trying to make my money back after losing with that bum ass ace king hand. I still love it though. I still love it. But yeah, it's going to fold to low jack and they're going to be opening for $10. High jack is going to be putting in the 3 bet. They bump it up all the way to $30. Does fold to me all the way around in the big blind. And I'm going to be putting in that code 4 bet, bumping it up all the way to $80. And I did use this specific sizing because I noticed my opponent is playing extremely short. It's going to be the same guy that just stacked me. Well, not stacked me, but double up through me with their pocket 7s. So yeah, that is one of the reasons I did size down here because I pretty much know how much they had. We just played like 5 minutes ago. So yeah, I really like my size in here. The original opener in low jack is going to be folding, but that same guy, he's going to be putting in a call. Exactly what I wanted. Well, I would have preferred if they just went all in, but hey, I'll take it. No problems. So we're going to be going heads up to a flop of jack, queen 4, 2 diamonds. Don't have a diamond in my hand, but I have pocket kings in a code 4 bet pot. We have an overpair to the board. Sometimes that's all you can ask for when you are in a code 4 bet pot. I just have to hope my opponent doesn't have pocket queens or jacks and I'll be good. And I'm going to be ahead of any ace queen or king queen kinds of hands, etc. So yeah, looking pretty good here. And I'm going to be firing out a bet here in this code 4 bet pot. And I decide to bet a really small size in here. I just make it $35 to go. And the reason that I did this is because I had a hand that happened a minute or 2 ago where a similar situation came about. And I did use this small bet. My opponent ended up raising and I ended up folding. And it was a 3 bet pot. So I wanted to keep it consistent. I do my little small bet again. And I get exactly what I wanted to happen. Within 2 or 3 seconds, my opponent announces they're going to be all in for $275 and overbet all in. No complaints by me. I got the Cowboys. I snap call. And as soon as I did, I turn over and let them know I got pocket kings. Let's hope we can find a hold if we're ahead. But yeah, I should be ahead of here a lot, right? They don't flip over their cards, so I don't know what they have. But let's go straight to the run out. And the turn's going to come to 4 diamonds. That kind of worried me. But the river comes the king. Yes, I pretty much have the stone code. Nuts at this point. They're not going to have pocket 4s. Shut up. They don't have quads. Get that out of your minds. I have the nuts. And my opponent does turn over ace queen suited. So they did flop top pair, top kicker. Makes sense for them to go all in just like that. Well, it looks like the money I gave them earlier was just a little loan. I get it back within 5 to 10 minutes of that last all in with them. Big hold at 1-3 with pocket kings. All right, time to move up in stakes. My name finally gets called. We're going to be playing some 2-5. And like I said before, sometimes the $10 straddle was going to be on. And that's already happened in first hand. I put the $10 straddle on. Just sat at the table. I'm going to get dealt 4 deuce of hearts. And would have thought I was playing 1-3. Under the gun is going to start out with a limp. What is going on here? But yes, of course, people limp at all stakes, right? Yeah, they do put in a limp. It folds all the way around to my opponent on the button. They're going to be putting in that ISO. They make it $40 to go. Small blind's going to fold. Big blind's going to be putting in the call. And I'm just hoping that the person in early position doesn't go for a limp raise. I'm going to be coming along as well in the straddle. And looks like they're not. They just decide to put in a call. So we're going to be going 4 ways to a flop of 3-8-5, 2 hearts. Now, that is a sexy flop to see for your first hand at a new table. I have an open-ended straight flush draw. Any 6 is going to pay me off. Any ace is going to pay me off. Hey, might even have the best flush if I can turn or river a heart. So yes, I am loving this flop. Let's continue that momentum. If we started at 1-3, here at 2-5. Big blind puts in a check. I put in a check. Limper puts in a check too. And button is going to be fine in that C-bet here. They grab their chips and they make it $80 to go. Big blind takes a little bit of time here with their decision. And looks like they are not just going to be putting in the call. They put in that check raise all the way up to $275. And now I have a decision here. Open-ended straight flush draw. This lady just checked raise to $275. I have her and button covered because she is a little bit short. So yeah, I do go into the tank for a little bit and realize, okay, I'm not going to be a pussy about this. I'm not just putting in the call. Y'all know what time it is. For the first time ever, I believe this should be the first time ever. Hey, somebody else see me doing it another time, let me know. But we're going to be putting in that check Rizzo Aunt Jemima all in moment. Let's get it for $1,000. Pretty insane here. The under the gun lip is going to fold. I am completely happy if I somehow get this through. I don't think big blind's ever going to fold. But hey, you never know, right? Button thinks about it for a little bit and not even that long. And they're going to be coming along with the call. Big blind, she's just sandwiched in the middle. And she goes into the tank for a little bit. And ultimately, she opts to lay down her cards. She did let the table know she had a flush draw, and that's not what I want to hear because I need hearts. And my opponent is going to turn over pocket 10s. And I let them know, yo, you're ahead. And he said, are you serious? I said, yeah, you're ahead. Let's go straight to the run out.
All right, you're ahead.
Ooh, you want to hear that?
You're still ahead. I have 4 fucking high.
Man. 4 deuce of hearts.
It used to be a 4 high.
Deuce of hearts. How did you miss?
How do I miss?
Chip it.
And that was an annoying run out, right? Turn is a blank. River is a blank. I just 3-bet jammed flop and I just missed everything. What can you do? I am rather surprised to see that they did get in pocket 10s, to be completely honest, with all of that action. But hey, they did mention they have seen my vlogs before. So they know sometimes I get a little bit out of line. But I mean, I don't think I got out of line here, right? I had a hand. But yeah, pocket 10s is going to be good against my exact holding. I didn't even have a pair. So yeah, nice call by my opponent. They find a massive hold. And looks like I am not continuing my momentum for 1-3. We're going to lose a decent amount of money there. But at least they only had $722. So if you think about it, maybe that's why they did get it in, because the straddle was on. Completely different game than it just being 2-5, right? So yeah, completely understanding. Nice hand by my opponent. Nothing you can do. It has really been a roller coaster this session. Let's hope we start going back up again. And for the next hand, I'm going to get dealt 6-5 offsuit. Yes, 6-5 offsuit on the button. No straddle on this time. Goes to my opponent in low jack. They're going to be opening for $15. Goes all the way around to me. And yeah, 6-5 offsuit. Such a great hand, right? Let's get a little bit out of line. I decide to flick in the call. Small blind folds. And big blind is going to be coming along as well. So it looks like we're going to be going 3 ways to a flop of 2-7-8. 2 clubs, pretty decent flop, open-ended straight draw, not suited though, so I do have to worry about clubs. Have the 6 of clubs in my hand, but it's not too relevant in this case, to be honest. And another thing I have to keep in mind is that if I hit a 9, I don't have the nuts. I will lose to Jack 10. So that is the rough thing about having these low suited connectors. I know it's not even suited, but yeah, that's the problem with these low suited connectors. You can flop the low end of the straight and just get destroyed. But let's hope we can just find a 4 and make my life easier, right? Big blind's going to start out with a check. The original opener is going to be checking as well. And hey, I see an opportunity. Maybe I can just take out in the pot right here. So I grab my chips. I'm going to put out a bet here. Make it a decent size this time. I bet $35. Big blind's going to be putting in a call. And the original opener is going to be calling as well. That's just fantastic. My bet didn't really accomplish anything except building the pot for when I hit my draw. Duh, like obviously I'm just gonna hit. So yeah, we're still 3-handed. We're gonna go to the turn and it's gonna come the 4 of hearts. Exactly what I figured was gonna happen. Duh, that's why I bet the flop. Now we do officially have the stone cold nuts. Let's get it. That club draw is still on the board. Somebody could have a flush draw. Big blind's gonna check. Original opener is gonna be checking. And now it is time to bump up the stakes here. I'm gonna be firing a massive bet. Think about my sizing for a bit. And I grab my chips, making it $150 to go. And after about 5 seconds or so, looks like big blind isn't having it. They are putting in that check raise. And they're gonna be all in for $1,200. That is beautiful. The original opener is going to fold. I snap call, feeling pretty good about my hand. And as we're going to the run out, I tell the dealer, come on, no chop. And as I'm saying that, they're already turning over the 6-5 offsuit. So we had the exact same hand. River does end up coming to 9 of clubs, but it doesn't matter. And the funny thing is, earlier I said that 6 of clubs didn't matter. Hey, I guess it did. Because imagine if my opponent had 6-5 of clubs and I had some other random 6-5 offsuit. Yes, technically they would have hit the river and they would have had a flush. So hey, I'll take a chop here. We end up splitting the original opener's money. No complaints. We get the choppers. That's always better than losing in poker. And next hand, I'm going to get dealt ace-10 offsuit. Going to be on the button again, so I will 100% have position in this hand. And it's going to fold all the way around to me on the button. I'm going to find that open here. I make it $15 to go. Small blind puts in a call. Big blind is going to be folding. So it looks like we're going to be going heads up to a flop of 4 deuce 3 rainbow. Not the most interesting flop. The only thing that's good about it is a 5 could come, but then now I have that same case I just talked about. I'll be drawn to the bottom end of the straight. But hey, at least it'll be a straight. And I do have 2 overcards to the board. So hey, could be behind, but eventually I could be ahead. Small blind's gonna put in a check. And this time around, I want to see a turn. I decide to check back. We go to the turn and it comes the 5 of hearts. Okay, now we're talking here. We have the second nuts here. And yes, if somebody wants to say, no, you don't have the second nuts. Yes, I guess technically I have the third nuts. Second nuts is a 6. The nuts is 6, 7. Yeah, bravo for anybody who was thinking that and he was about to go in the comments and say something. But now that 5 of hearts does bring in that backdoor flush draw. My opponent's going to be checking again. And I could put out a bet here, but no, I'm a chill. I want to see a river. I decide to check back. We go to it and it comes the Jack of Diamonds. Doesn't really change much on this board. I'm feeling really good about my hand. And even better when my opponent announces they're going to be checking a 3rd time. So at this point, I got a bet. Think about my sizing for a bit. And y'all know me, I love putting out and dishing out some over bets. So that's the size I'm going to use. I'm going for it. I grab 2 green chips and I make it $50 to go. And listen to this audio closely as my opponent calls.
Ace is good. Turns like a folding motherfucker.
Now, isn't that hilarious? While they are tossing in the chips, they said, if you have an ace, you're good. And they still called. So yeah, looks like they had a feeling. I did have it. They get mad at themselves a bit after I scooped the pot. And they said, damn it, why didn't you bet the turn? My hand would have been so much easier to fold. So hey, it looks like we got more out of villain there. with playing the check back on the turn. Love to see it. Not the biggest pot, but hey, I'm completely fine with winning some small ones. Strat is going to be on this time. I get dealt ace jack offsuit and low jack position. Under the gun is going to be starting out with a limp. I decide to put in that ISO here, grab my chips, and I bump it up to $60. Gonna fold all the way back around to them, and they're gonna be putting in the call. So it looks like we're gonna be going heads up to a flop of ace 4-10, 2 diamonds, and that is a pretty good flop for ace jack offsuit. Don't have a diamond in my hand, so my opponent could have some flush draws. Mainly, I do have top pair, second best kicker, only behind to some random ace queen and ace king limps, which are possible, but are extremely rare, definitely. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about my hand. My opponent's going to start out with a check and got to put it in the c-bet here after that ISO pre and having top here, right? So I grab my chips. I just make it $50 to go. And after a couple of seconds, looks like they're not just putting in $50. Man, oh man, they're going to be putting in that check raise. A lot of damn check raises today, right? They're going to be bumping it up all the way to 125. And not really all the way to 125. Not the biggest check raise. I'm feeling pretty good. It's 2.5x. Have top here, decent kicker. So yeah, I'm going to be putting in the call. We go to the turn and it comes the king of hearts. Very good turn here. Well, bad turn in the sense that backdoor hearts are starting to come in. Good turn in the sense that I can hit my lady on the river and I would have the nuts straight. So I do pick up some additional equity. Completely fine if my opponent slows down, but looks like they're not going to be doing just that. They're grabbing chips. They're going to be firing out another bet here. They make it $175 to go. And yeah, still not going to fold yet. Have a decent hand here. So after a couple of seconds, I decide I'm going to be putting in a call. We go to the river and it comes the 7 of hearts. Now the backdoor flush just got there. Hoping my opponent does check. Nope. Once again, they're going to be betting. A check raised and they're going for the triple barrel against me. They grab their chips and they make it $425 with the third barrel, and not much I can do here. I do have top here, really good kicker, but hey, I just feel like there's gonna be better spots. I'm gonna show some discipline. I take my cards, I lay it down. Can't win every hand you play, right? And back to the best drawing hand in poker. I get dealt ace king offsuit in hijack position. It's gonna fold to me and I'm gonna be opening for $15, and my opponent is gonna be putting in that 3-bet. They bump it up all the way to $65. It does fold all the way back around to me, and this is where I make the mistake. I meant to throw in chips for a 4-bet. Yes, that's what I wanted to do, but instead I threw in chips that was a little bit over their bet, and it wasn't enough for the 4-bet. And it actually forced the call, and then the dealer takes a couple of my chips and throws them back at me. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, why are they throwing chips back? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't put enough in the pot. Yeah, completely dropped the ball with this one, not gonna lie. So it looks like we're taking ace king, heads up in the 3-bet pot. I mean, that's still fine, but I wanted to 4-bet. Can't stress this enough. And we're gonna be going to a flop of 6-5-7, 2 hearts. Now, okay flop for ace king. Do have the ace of hearts in my hand. Would love if the boy can go runner heart. And I have 2 overs. I mean, it's ace king, duh. But yeah, scary connected board. Have to be extremely cautious here. I'm gonna put in a check. My opponent grabs their chips. They're gonna be putting out a bet here. They make it $85 to go. And definitely not gonna be folding yet with my hand. Have a lot of equity. So I take my chips. I'm gonna be putting in a call. We go to the turn and it comes to 3 of hearts. That's a really good turn. I have 80% of a flush. I just need one more damn heart and I will have the stone cold nuts. Let's see if we can find it. And I do think about it for a little bit, and that miss 4-bet pre-flop started coming in and weighing into my decision making here. But ultimately, I like my play. I decided to lead on this card. Yes, leading and donking in a 3-bet pot. That's what I came up with. I think about my sizing, and I'm going to be donking $225. And before you see the results, let me know what you think about this lead in the comments below. Would appreciate it. But yeah, I'm going for it here. And after about 5 to 7 seconds, this is the last thing I wanted to hear. My opponent announces they're going to be all into the dealer. And I'm like, oh my goodness. They go all in for $800. And I go into the tank. I don't immediately call this off. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I felt completely behind here. And I know it's only $575 more to call. And even in the moment, I didn't go crazy thinking about pot odds and all of this stuff. I was just really upset by the misclick with the 4-bet because his hand would have played out completely differently. So yeah, I'm not even thinking about or even considering calling. I'm not gonna lie. No, yeah, I did consider calling for a little bit, but honestly, I weighed more towards folding. And after a little bit, I do decide to just lay down my cards. Didn't want my mistake to keep compounding there. But yeah, could have had enough equity to call. My mind was just all over the place in that hand, to be completely honest. Maybe I dropped the ball. If you did play the hand out like that, what would you have done in that spot? If you did decide to donk turn, would you have called it off to the jam? Once again, let me know in the comments below. And let's just hope I can turn this session around. It is not going well right now. Well, it hasn't been going too well besides the beginning. And yeah, this hand just loves me. Let's see if I can win with it. Third time's the charm. I get dealt ace king suited in cutoff position. Gonna fold all the way to my opponent in hijack. They're gonna be opening for $20, and you already know what I'm gonna be doing. I'm putting in that 3-bet to the direct left. I bump it up all the way to $60. Folds all the way back around to them, and looks like they're gonna be putting in the call. So it looks like we're gonna be going heads up with ace king again to a flop of jack 5-5 rainbow. Now, not the best flop for ace king, but there is a heart on the board, and I have 2 overs, and I can go run around the first straight. There are a lot of positive things going on here, so it's okay. We're gonna win with ace king. I'm telling you, we are going to win. Third time is the charm. Let's get it. My opponent is gonna start out with a check, and completely fine if I just take it down now. I'm gonna be putting out a bet here, thinking about my sizing for a little bit, and this time around, I'm gonna be betting $90. They think about it for a couple of seconds. Looks like villain is gonna be putting in the call. We go to the turn, and it comes the 10 of clubs. Would have preferred the 10 of hearts, dealer. At least I do have that additional backdoor equity I was talking about. My lady can come on the river and save me to give me the nuts straight. Wouldn't be the nuts, but it would be the nuts straight, right? My opponent decides to check, and this time around, I am committed to winning with ace king. So I grab my chips. I'm putting in that double barrel in this 3-bet pot. Think about my sizing, and I'm going to be making it $225 to go. They do take a little bit longer this time. I'm like, oh man, maybe I can actually get a fold. But nope, they are still going to be putting in the call. So we're going to go to the river, and it comes the king of clubs. Oh my goodness, did I just get saved? What a beautiful king on the river. My opponent is going to check. I love this river card. I now have top pair, top kicker in a 2-5 game. And I think about it for a bit. What should I be doing here? And I'm tanking, and yeah, y'all already know what we gotta do. I'm going for it. Y'all know what time it is. It's gonna be an Archer Bama moment. I am all in on the river with ace king. Third time's the charm. And let's go straight to the audio to see how it plays out after I go all in. Listen up closely.
Such a sick spot. I can't fold. I call.
Oh, of course you can't fold. You have to.
Dude, I've been getting the shit kicked out of me this whole trip.
He says I can't fold. I thought I was ahead. Now, is that the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life? When he sits back and he also starts moving his hands around, I just thought that he was going to fold. He said some words out loud that made it feel like he was going to fold. And then he shows me pocket tens for the boat as he's putting in the call. And then I look at him, not going to lie, I look at him. So yeah, as you can tell, I was extremely upset. I guess they thought that they were going to get coolered by pocket jacks or pocket kings on the river. They said it was a rough time for them playing at the series. I'm not going to lie. I felt like I got slow rolled. I mean, you were never going to fold there ever. It felt like a crazy ass slow roll. And it was the first time it happened to me in live poker that it was this bad for this much money for an all in on the river. Like, we were playing extremely deep here, ladies and gentlemen. Over 200 big blinds. But hey, what can you do? After this, I did decide to take a little bit of a walk. I did come back only after a couple of minutes. And when I sat back down, I did let my opponent know, hey, it's no problem, by the way. I understand you just went through a lot and you've been losing a lot. It's okay, no problem, it's poker. And he did proceed to apologize to me, but I'm like, hey, seriously, no need to apologize. It's fine, no problems. But yeah, would love to hear about a time that the same similar situation happened to you, where you basically got nit rolled, as they would call it, right? I believe that's the right terminology for it. But yeah, what can you do? This session is just not going my way. At this point of the session, I'm going to be down the most I've ever been down in my entire life, playing 2-5. This is only part 1. We're halfway through it. Make sure you come back for part 2, which is going to release in a couple of days. I am going to be down a whopping $4,000. Yes, $4,000. Can't even believe it. But hey, it's just been one of those days. This session didn't go well, but check out how easy poker was for me at the Aria.